Hello, how are you? I hope fine good. So today I'd like to make a quick revision on the grammar part of your revision sheet. So firstly, let's share our screen. And now, yeah, we have to start into the grammar part. Okay, the first question is talking about the action verbs. Okay, the action verb here is in mental or physical. Okay, at the school, okay, we just recognize the verb. So I told you try to underline only the verb. Okay, that's nice. Never mind. So here the first one is wonder. Where is the verb? Of course, wonder. Number two, where is the verb? Cold. Number three, where is the verb? Purchased. Okay. And number four, drove. Number five, members, and so on. Okay, as you see now, worry, caught, flies, considered, opened, all of these verbs are action verbs. Okay, about M and PH, M is in mental because wonder is a mental verb, and PH is physical. Physical we did or we do with our body. Here's pulled. So pull, you do it with your body. But wonder, of course, like astonish here is a mental. Okay. For example, considered here, considered equal think or believe. So it's a mental. Remember, number five, exactly. Okay. So all of these verbs called mental because you did it with your mind. Okay. Or you use your mind. Okay. Members, wonder, and considered. Okay. But open, of course, you do with your body, so it's called physical. Okay, so the next question is talking about that transitive or intransitive. Here is, firstly, before we start to answer this question, I'd like to make a quick revision on what does it mean transitive or intransitive. Transitive here, the verbs needs object. Firstly, let me write it for you. Here is, that's intransitive. Transitive means needs an object. But intransitive doesn't need an object. Okay, here is transitive needs an object, but intransitive needs and doesn't need an object. Okay, here is the first question. It's talking about that Robin Burgundy has been gossiping since early this morning. Gossiping here means talkative, talking a lot. Okay, so here the verb gossiping. When I tell you he is gossiping, he is gossiping or he gossips. So the verb gossip need an object. No, doesn't need an object. Why doesn't need? Because it makes sense. It stands alone. It can stand alone. When I tell you that in this person has been gossiping, yeah, now I understand that he is talking a lot. He is talking a lot. He talks a lot. So of course it's called intransitive because it doesn't mean or doesn't need any object. Okay, doesn't need an object. Look at the second example here, or the second question. Jack White found it. Now you can to ask me, Mister, found a what? He found or oh yeah, found what? Okay, so here doesn't founded a company or found a building, found what? So here it's called intransitive because you have to mention found what? That's called transitive. Okay, so again, the first example, gossiping. When I tell you this person has been gossiping. Yeah, now I understand. I don't need to ask you gossiping what, because gossiping doesn't mean talkative. So yeah, listen, Ahmed is gossiping. Yeah, that Ahmed is talkative, is talks a lot. So it's called gossiping. So it's called intransitive. Why intransitive? Because we don't need any object. But the second example here, founded. This person or Ahmed founded. Founded, that's mean established. Established what? Founded what? So here it's called intransitive because you have to mention what did he found. What did he found? Let's look at the third question. I lived in Las Vegas for a very brief period. The verb lived here. When I tell you I live, shall I mention? Shall I mention live where? No. I think listen, I don't need to mention listen the verb lived here where I lived because I tell you I live. He lives. Okay, says he lives. He lives a happy life. He lives in Las Vegas. He lived in we have we can to mention many objects. But when I tell you that she lives, okay, yeah. So lived here can stand alone. The verb can stand alone. So it's called intransitive. Why it's intransitive? Because we don't need to add an object or we don't need to mention object. So lived here is transitive verb. Transitive verb. Again, again. When I tell you that in she lived or she lives, okay, yeah, I know she lives. Thank you. She lives a happy life, pessimistic life. She lived in this place. We can mention many objects. So we don't need to mention. We don't need. You can don't need. Okay, so it's um okay, listen. You can go through listen. She lives. Okay. Okay, that's nice. Number 4 here. I make an excellent shrimp. I make make what? make okay I make what for you for me for anyone else. Okay, so here is called transitive. Why transitive here for make? Because you have to declare, you have to mention make what exactly. Make a cake, make party, make what? Okay, so here, let's try to revise again. Lesson transitive, make here is transitive. Why transitive? Why transitive? Because you have to mention make what exactly. Make what exactly. But lived, he lived, or he lives. So here is lives here, doesn't need to mention any object. Doesn't need to mention. Why? Because you can understand he lives. Yeah, okay, he lives. Number 5 here. Michael Simon gave, okay, he gave, mm, give what? What did she give, or what did he give? He gave. So here is the thing. You have to mention what did he give. You have to mention what did he give. So here that's in Michael Simon gave an outrageous speech yesterday. So here that's in the word gave is intransitive. Why? Because you declare you have to mention what did he give? Okay, that's called transitive. Again, again. Number 6. Stephen Curry slept. When I tell you he slept that's in fell down on the floor. So yeah, transitive or intransitive slept. You can understand the sentence? When I ask you, you can understand the sentence, Michael, or sorry, Stephen slept. You can understand? Yeah, I understand now that he slept. So it's called what? Intransitive. Why intransitive? Because we don't need to mention any object. We don't need. He slept. Yeah, I know he slept. But gave. Can I say Michael someone gave? It doesn't make sense? Of course, it doesn't make sense. Of course, it doesn't make sense. So when I tell you that Stephen Curry slept, yeah, it makes sense. He slept, of course. Okay, now it's better. Number 7. Number 7. The prosecution proved. The prosecution proved. Okay, so proved what? What has gone? Okay, that's proved. Okay, proved what? Of course, you need to mention proved what, because if I tell you here the the prosecution proved, doesn't make sense. Exactly, and stopped. Prosecution proved, doesn't make sense, of course. Doesn't make sense. But when I tell you, so doesn't make sense, it's called transitive, because we need to mention the object. We need to mention the object, transitive. But here's Stephen Curry slept. Yeah, makes sense. I understand this, and he slept. I don't need to mention object. I don't need to mention object. So here this don't need to mention. Don't need to mention any object or to say any object. Okay. Number 8. George Lucas. George Lucas rejected. Rejected? Rejected what? Rejected, that means he has been refused. Okay, rejected what occurs here is when I tell you George Lucas rejected. Can you understand? No, of course. So we have to mention the script under. We have to mention object here. We have to mention object. So here's it's called rejected is transitive. Why? Because I don't understand if I stopped here. With that's in George Lucas rejected. Rejected what? We have to mention object. Okay? We have to mention object. But when we say here slept, that's in John slept. John slept. Yes. Okay. That's in he's laughing. John slept. Okay. That's nice. Okay. I worked. Thank you. Yeah. I worked. I understand. She worked. Okay. That's nice. I understand now. She worked. So she worked now is intransitive. Why? Because it can stand alone. It can stand alone. I can understand. I worked. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So the GOP, okay, nominated. Nominated here, that mean mentioned or named or called someone. Okay, called what? Nominated what? Nominated, okay, what did she nominate? Okay, or what did she, what happened here? That's in nominated what exactly? So let's try to back again. Once you understand the sentence, Once you understand the sentence that Stephen Curry slept, you understand that? Okay, it's called transitive, intransitive, called intransitive, because you can stand alone, you can understand it. But here is persecution proved. I can understand. So it's called transitive. Why transitive? Because we need to mention object. Okay, I hope it's so easy for you. Okay, and we can move into the next questions talking about write the blank. Here is, okay, whether the word in italics, DO, direct object, or IO, indirect object. Okay, where is here the verb? Both. Okay, Jason both. Yeah. Both what? Both his grandmother? Of course no. Yeah, so it's called indirect object. Why it's in? Because he bought her stationery for her birthday. Okay, so here now, Jason bought the stationery, okay, for his grandmother birthday. So now, of course, that's in called indirect object because he didn't mention what he bought directly. Bought what? Stationery. So this gap here is called indirect object. Indirect object. Okay. So Albert won the Nobel Peace. So where's the verb? Won. Okay. So won what? Nobel Peace, exactly. So, direct object. Why? Because he mentioned directly the object. Won Nobel Peace Prize. Okay? Okay. Number 3. We fed our cat leftover turkey. So, we fed. Where's the verb? Fed. Okay, so fed what? We fed what? Fed leftover turkey. Yeah, because feed that's in that's in the past of feed. Okay, feed or I feed uh beans, meat, meatballs, anything. Okay, in food. So here listen feed or sorry, we fed our cat. So here listen our cat an object. Okay, so here listen indirect object. Why indirect object? It's an I for indirect. Why? Because now he making gap between the object fed leftover. And supposedly I can say we fed leftover turkey for our cat. Okay, but he said now we fed our cat. We fed our cat. So indirect object. That's an object here. It's called indirect object. Why? Because we have separated between them. We have separated between them, between the verb and the there is a separation. But one here, one what? The Nobel Prize. So direct object. Direct object. Why? Because here is the verb. Here is the verb. And here is object. Here is the object. Here is the verb. Here is the object. So there is a gap here. So it's called indirect object. Here is the verb. Where is the object? Stationary. So there is a gap here. So it's called indirect object. But the direct follow the verb directly. Follow the verb directly. Here is the object, follow the verb. Okay. Let's move to next questions. Junior high teacher graded papers. Where is the verb? Graded. Thank you. Graded what? Papers? Yeah, so follow the verb directly. So direct object. Why direct object? Because follow the verb directly here. Listen, graded is a verb and paper is object. So verb object, direct object. Direct object. Why? Because follow the verb directly. Okay. The gourmet chef tasted her new entry. So where the verb tasted? Exactly. This is what? New entry. Exactly. So direct object. Okay. But here, number 18. Mitsui's father saved us seats at the baseball game. Where is the verb here? Verb save. Saved what? Saved seats. Yeah. So here saved is a verb now. And seats is an object. Of course, there is separated here, there's separation here, the word us. So indirect object. Okay, got it now? Okay, thank you. Okay, after that, yeah, here is this question is talking about the Lincoln verb. You can make check or true sign beside the sentence that has Lincoln verb. That has Lincoln verb. Okay, here is the first sentence. The name Niagara. The name Niagara is an old Icarus word. Okay, so here the sin is Lincoln verb. So of course, yeah, we have make true. Okay, not true or false, but in the true sign. The true sign, just a sign. Okay, so here is the sentence. You have Lincoln verb. Yes, was. Do you know or do you remember what about the Lincoln verbs? Yeah, Lincoln verbs, we can say here. What are they? Lincoln verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, do, does, did, have, has, had. Okay. There are some Lincoln verbs. Okay. Other words here. Firstly, okay, try to start with here. Okay, that's in this sentence. We have Lincoln verb was. Lincoln verb was. Okay, so what about the third sentence? Do we have Lincoln verb here? No, we have action verb formed. So we don't put sign or the correct sign. Okay, so number 23. 23 here. Lake Erie overflowed with the water from the great ice sheet. Here is the verb overflowed. That's all. So once you have Lincoln verb, you can to put the true sign. Okay, you don't have, leave it as it. Leave it as it. Okay, that's all. Here in this question, I think this is the last question. Yeah, the last question is talking about what? It's talking about two lines under each verb. Okay, two lines under each verb. Write its tense, present, past, or future. Okay, what is the verb here? Number 10. The verb is enjoy. Okay, the verb is enjoy. So enjoy here is present. Number 11. What is the verb? Carve. Carve is the past. Sally lists her resolutions every New Year's Day. What is the verb? Lists. Lists, present. The choir will visit the retirement home next week. Where's the verb here? Will visit. Will visit, future. The plan eating. Okay. The verb here live. It's past. 15. Where's the verb? Will test. Future. 16. Where's the verb? Landed. So landed, past, course, because it. Huh. The Carters on the moon look like dark spots. Where's the present? Where's the verb? Look like. Look like. So present. 18. Where's the verb? Scored. Past. 19. Where's the verb? Will walk. Future. Okay. And the last one. Where's the verb? Stops. Stops. Present, of course. Okay. And we have finished the grammar part. I hope it's easy for you, and inshallah we have a revision online grammar session on Saturday and morning at 10 o'clock p.m. Okay, so once you misunderstand anything, please text me on SCL and try to attend on the online session. And before I go, so I'd like to get it clear for transitive or intransitive. Transitive needs needs object. Needs object. You can understand, you cannot understand the sentence, and you have to mention object. Okay? Like number two here. Number two here. White or Jack White found it. So when I tell you White Jack found it and I stopped, you will not understand. That's true. So you have to mention found it what? It's called transitive. Why? Because we have to mention the object. But number one, this person has been gossiping. Yeah, This person has been talkative. Yeah, exactly. So it's an intransitive because it's an understandable sentence, full meaning, and we don't need to add any object. Okay, thank you so much.